Good evening. Welcome. No, I'm kidding. That sounded
Good
like
evening,
fucking-
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Sounded like a news presenter then. God damn. Good evening.
Thanks,
I'm your
thanks,
host.
Tom.
I'm Tom Tucker. Tom, I'm
Yeah.
standing over.
We go to Trisha Takanawa, who is in the field. Yes.
Tom, I'm standing in the field where I'm in a field. Thank you, Trish.
Thank you, Trisha.
Anyway.
Yes, quality.
Welcome to the Vault. Second episode with the new fucking co-host, Squizzeh. There he is. He's
Hey, Dan.
We're getting a little bit controversial this week. And
I mean, kinda.
yeah, a little bit. We're diving into the realm of cancel culture. So, tell us a bit about cancel culture, mate. What do you...
Cancel culture is a god-awful thing. And it's the problem... It's a big problem in society today, what I will say. Because the line that like people don't cross when it comes to making jokes and stuff like that is getting lower and lower and lower. Basically, that's the main thing anyway.
I was going to say, I would say that cancel culture is up there with one of the biggest things affecting this generation and even, generations before us, because back in the day, you could get away with saying almost whatever you want and people would laugh about it. And then, you know what? I'll say it, all right? These days, we got snowflakes who take offense to anything. And I got a lovely quote from one of my beautiful people in chat from my stream earlier. And they said that offense is taken, not given. And I completely agree with that within most contexts. If you're maliciously saying something to someone, then obviously that's deliberately offensive. But in most cases, and heavily to do with cancel culture, I believe these days offense is given. No, taken, not given.
No, that's very accurate. I agree with that. Offense is taken, not given. That's a good one. I do like that.
Like it.
Because...
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're right. 90% of the time, people are... I mean, look, there's obviously people who try to offend people purposely.
Yes.
But a lot of the time... And look, that should be frowned upon, I personally think, unless... I mean, yeah, you shouldn't bully people, obviously, for what they believe in and what they want to do. But, at the end of the day, if you're doing stuff that's... Like, you see, and with all the, reply videos that all these people have to do with all this stuff, 90% of the time, it's complete garbage because they... I don't know. People have their own opinions on stuff, and at the end of the day, you should have
people are too scared to voice their opinions these days. And... people run the risk of saying something that their audience might not agree to, and then they make an apology video, and then they don't agree with what's said in that apology video, so they make an apology video for the apology video, and you get caught in this really, really dangerous spiral of giving into what, the general population wants, and you're no longer in a position of being able to voice your own opinions, which is
100%.
Anti-basic human rights. Everyone's allowed to say what they want, within respective, everyone's allowed to voice their opinions.
Everyone knows the difference between an opinion that's your opinion and an opinion that's there purely to bring someone down.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people say stuff because they know that it will affect the person they're saying it to, and it'll offend them because of how they believe in it. But most of the time, people the problem with cancel culture is it's not the people that say that sort of stuff that people are trying to cancel. It's the people who are just voicing opinions, like people on a Twitch chat or people on a YouTube video or something like that just say what they sort of think, and then people take it way out of context 90% of the time.
Yeah. I think we'll probably try and delve into some of the points now. We've been rambling a bit. I feel one of my key points I have is that one of the worst things about cancel culture, in my opinion, as someone who loves movies, is you can't have satire and comedy and funny comedy is rapidly just disappearing out of here, and you can't have any risky jokes anymore that are in my opinion, they are some of the funniest jokes. Is the ones that are a little bit risque, so to speak. Um, and my prime example of that, a lot of people would also know this movie. It's a beautiful fucking movie. One of the greatest movies, one of the funniest movies I've ever watched is Tropic Thunder. And like, if you were to look back at Tropic Thunder today, it is full of just stuff that you just can't get away with these days, bro. Like, you have who was the actor, the main actor who
Ben Stiller.
Was it Ben Stiller who played
Yeah.
Ben Stiller, and like literally in a satire way was mocking I don't want to say retardism because that's not the right word. People who are mentally challenged. Like it's mocking that in a satire way, and it was genuinely funny at the time. And you know, on top of that, you had gay jokes. You had I think it was Jack Black, who was there's a scene where he's like strung up and they're stopping him from doing drugs or some shit, and he's like, "I will suck your dick for some cocaine" or something like that. And it's so funny. And these days, it's like, nah, that's gay. That's homophobic.
Yeah.
And obviously, the biggest one would be Robert Downey Jr. doing blackface. I left that one to last because it's probably the one you could delve the deepest into.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, the elephant in the room that I was just trying to hide behind a little cape, bro. So obviously, Robert Downey Jr. did blackface in the movie, and it was funny. It was done well. It was done almost perfectly, I would say. There was like a bit of fourth wall breaking to acknowledge it. Anyway,
a man playing a man playing a man.
he's a man dressed up as a dude playing another dude. It's beautiful, and he acknowledges blackface in the movie. And what have I got here? If done right, it can provide an amazing comedic effect, which is true. We know that from the movie. And not to quote any, unjustified or like not to quote any bad information, but on an episode of the Joe Rogan podcast,
Not to quote any bad information followed by that is just
king of misinformation, Joe Rogan, so to speak. But I do believe in the episode he sat down with Robert Downey Jr., they spoke about the blackface. And I could be wrong in saying this, but I remember that RDJ said that he felt uncomfortable when he was first doing it. However, after consulting several of his colored friends, his black friends, they said the idea would be very funny to pull off if it was done right. Obviously, they did it right. If they didn't do it right, blah, 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 you'd have a shit movie. Apparently, Robert Downey Jr. lost several of his black friends because of doing that. But at the end of the day, he doesn't regret it, I don't think, from what I remember. And I'm pretty sure it's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know. With that, it's obviously, I mean, we're not in real positions to talk about it, obviously, because we're not.
Agreed.
We're not the people.
Just to quickly clarify, these are all our personal opinions. Nothing should be taken seriously or out of context. We're just voicing our opinions as you are. You're allowed to discuss it in the comments. All this shit. Yeah. Anyway,
absolutely. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Obviously, I do understand that. I understand why people get offended by that.
Yeah.
But it's not made in order to do that. If you know what I mean. It's made to be, and it's not trying to be funny towards African American people. If you know what I mean. It's not trying to like make that like degrade them or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just to be a funny
like
movie.
The way he acts in the movie, it's obvious that he's actually. I don't know. It's hard to say because it's a comedy movie.
Yeah,
so
it's
everything.
It's obvious satire.
Yeah, it's obviously all satire, but it's like he's not like acting in like the whole blackface thing. He's not acting in a way where he's trying to degrade African American people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a very fine line, and obviously some people don't like it, some people do, but it's a funny movie. If you haven't watched it, I'd seriously recommend it. But
absolutely.
It's a great movie because it's got some great actors in it, and the way that he portrays his character is very good because it shows why. Because it has like it's like got a backstory behind it as well. It's not like it's just like you play the movie and he's automatically like in blackface. It's like it shows him before that as well, so it shows like why he's doing what he's doing. So it's not just like a random thing where it's just blackface.
Isn't in the movie? Isn't he like originally a white actor and he's doing blackface in the movie as well? So it's like a double take. It's like a
exactly. That's why he's playing a dude who's playing a dude,
Dressed
or
up as
something.
yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, look,
I
I
forgot
think it's
about
a
that.
really funny movie, but I can see why people don't like it as well.
And just for a quick hot take, don't cancel me for saying this. However, the movie White
However,
Chicks, the movie White Chicks. All right, once again, another fucking funny movie. That was a really, really good movie. Loved it. If you don't know what it is, I believe, if I remember correctly, two black guys are undercover cops, and to go undercover, they whiteface. They dress up as white people, white girls, do all of this ironic satire, like generic white girl stuff that you know there's joked about, and it's a funny movie. It's a funny movie. However, if we were to do something like that these days, whether it be the same concept or flipped around, you had white guys doing blackface. No matter what outcome you have, I would almost say that that entire movie franchise would be cancelled. Those actors would probably be out of careers. They'd be back down to
probably.
B grade movies.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a very fine line with a lot of people, and at the end of the day, in places like acting, I guess it's because it's such a big audience as well.
yeah, you got like
So
millions of people watching your shit.
yeah, it's the acting's the biggest, probably in movies like that is like the biggest audience you'll ever find. So I suppose it's a bit different to like the casual like Twitch streamer or YouTuber who talks about topics that aren't that majority of people or the fan base, not the fan base, but like how a lot of people react to it, and people that make content that's against their own opinion as well, because of cancel culture. I don't like that either.
Speaking of YouTube and cancel culture, mate, I believe you've got some absolute prime examples of
YouTube,
some YouTubers and cancel cultures.
yes. Honestly, the biggest one for me is Logan Paul.
Yep.
He's the epitome of cancel culture right there. He is where it started.
He's the founding father.
Yes, he's a founding father. Him and a few other people. Founding fathers. They're all fathers, ironically enough. But anyway.
It's always the men, bro. Sexist! Sexist!
Shit. I don't discriminate if men or women want to get cancelled. I'm all for it. Do whatever you want.
I actually didn't bring that statistic up, but I would make an argument that the biggest victims. All right, don't quote me. Get your statistics, but I feel like
quoted.
I feel like personally, from what I've seen, is that the majority of cancel cultures are affecting men. I said it. I said it. Go ahead and cancel me.
You're done.
You'll just add to the statistics. I'm a man.
Add to the statistics.
Like you don't see in the headlines like of females being cancelled. Obviously, apart from J.K. Rowling, but I'll get into that later. Like anyway, back to YouTube. Sorry, I just had to digress quickly.
It was a good digression. Logan Paul got cancelled obviously for filming a dead body in the Japanese forest. In the Japanese, what they call the suicide forest.
Well, it's not called that. It's just what it's known by globally, like casually.
What people call it. People call it the suicide forest.
In a casual conversation.
Name, but it's obviously he was cancelled very understandably, because that is like, I don't know, you don't do that, in my opinion. Like, you can have your own opinion, but you don't record a dead person and put it on YouTube, even if it's only for 45 minutes or a couple hours, however long you had it up for. But obviously, what happened, and there's a timeline of the events what happened, and now he's arguably more successful than he was before, which is
Aokigahara is the name of the forest. Sorry, I just had to bring that up.
Okay. Yeah.
So it does have an actual name.
Yeah, and then he went from, because he used to be like a person who just would he was basically like a really old kid that just run around doing dumb shit. Yeah. Basically, and just like do stupid Vine stuff when Vine was popular. That's how he got popular.
Oh, bloody Vine.
And then that brought him back to zero, and then he fought KSI, and it saved his career. But anyway,
and now they're best friends.
Yeah, and they're in a very successful
energy drink company. I've heard it's not good.
Oh, well, freaking the UFC spot is the prime. It's the drink of the UFC and of Arsenal.
Really?
It is the official energy drink of the UFC
Bro.
and Arsenal Football Club, which is the leading team in the Premier League right now in England. So yeah, they've done pretty well with that.
Huh.
But yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Damn.
I don't know. I want to try it though.
I'm pretty sure it's in
sponsor us,
Australia
fine.
now.
Yeah, they got to deal with Coles. I think they're doing. I think I saw
Oh,
something.
let's go. I got a Coles near me.
Yeah, no, I went to Coles today. Oh, no, I didn't see. I haven't seen anything. I don't know. But I digress. Yeah, cancelled. Logan Paul cancelled, and it ended up working out for him. I don't really know how, but
How
I
do
guess
you
it
come
matured.
back from that, bro? You
I don't know.
literally
He matured.
filming
He obviously matured since
Oh,
that.
absolutely, yeah.
And and it showed in his content as well.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the whole point of it. Like,
Does he still do YouTube?
Yeah, I think so. He makes YouTube videos. I think not as often anymore. I don't think, but there's obviously criticism, and then criticism's necessary in the world because that's another thing, like getting rid of like a dislike button and stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit.
Nah, they're good points. They're good points. They all contribute to cancel culture.
Criticism helps to benefit content.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, criticism is a very good thing because even with like our podcast and stuff like that, obviously there's going to be people that go, "Oh, this is good, this is bad, blah blah blah," and you take it on board, and that's how you move forward, sort of thing.
The right kind of criticism is just pretty much just feedback, honestly.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you need. You need that one.
Absolutely, but there's a difference between like, and now a lot of the times as well with people that just cancel stuff, it's not people. It's people on like Twitter and on like Instagram and social media that just go, didn't we cancel this person? Or didn't we cancel this person? Stop listening to them. Stop listening to them.
It's the idea of the fucking bandwagon, dude. Like, it's so bad. One person sees something, they share it to 5 other people. Those people are like, oh, this is what my friend thinks, so I agree with them. And then that 5 people do it to 5 people each, and suddenly you've got fucking 40 people hating one person, all because one person said, I don't like them.
Yeah, so exactly.
Yeah. The bandwagon's dangerous.
At the end of the day, the bandwagon's definitely dangerous. But at the end of the day, I guess people with their own like opinions will always be able to see the good and the bad of their opinions. Obviously.
Yeah, you want some constructive criticism?
Please enlighten me. I say a lot of things over and over again.
No. It's just the one. It's just the one from last week. The end of the day.
What was it? Yeah. How many times is that? Like,
all I can think of is that one TikToker who just like stitches videos and he's like, at the end of the day, it's not very good, isn't it? Think of the orphans.
Nope. Think of the orphans, indeed. You got to go through and edit it together.
Oh, dude,
but anyway,
that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be a long ass video.
That's on the topic of cancel culture being toxic and criticism and all this stuff, Rowan Atkinson. If you don't know who Rowan Atkinson is, A, you're uncultured. B, he's the actor for Mr. Bean.
Uncultured. Cancelled.
Cancel me. Try it. So I've got a piece here on the Washington Times, of course. Who?
All reliable.
Super credible, very reliable.
I'll be citing them in my university assignments.
So this is all quoted directly from the website. Mr. Bean actor Rowan Atkinson compared cancel culture to a, quote, medieval mob looking for someone to burn. Indeed, no one is immune to woke politics. It doesn't matter how long ago a person made their irredeemably offensive comments or how passionate their apologies are. The social media mob takes no prisoners. What do we go? We are in a sad place as a society when somebody's firing and or cancellation is celebrated more than their life's work, and yet here we are.
Yeah, that's very true.
Cancel culture is dangerous, and it can affect people's lives really badly.
Oh, 100%. And there's some... Look, don't get me wrong, there's some people that are deservedly cancelled and stuff like that because of stuff that they say. But there's other opinions that people have that they may be more right or left wing when it comes to politics and stuff like that. Mainly, it's the right wing ideology a lot of the time that gets cancelled.
Can you explain to me... because I've never actually looked into this. Do you know off by heart like what a leftist and a rightist is, and like what the differences are?
I think right-wing politics is more I think it's. I don't. I say liberal because I'm using the Australian term, but
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I don't really think liberal is the same everywhere. It's like I think right wings like people associate. Look, I'll generalize. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
being
that's fine.
actual
Let it be known
right
he's
wing.
generalizing.
Right wings like Donald Trump opinions and stuff like that. Left wing is the opposite of that. I'm pretty sure. You get where I'm coming from. Like left wing is like um, pro everything, like
Okay. Yeah.
pro this, that, what, the other. I'm not going to like pro
So like
LGBT and stuff
leftist
like
is
all that.
like the stuff that was the Roe v. Wade stuff, and they're like trying to cancel abortions and stuff. Was that leftist?
I
Is that
think
on the
that's
left?
right wing. I think that's right. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that was right wing.
See, but I just don't understand. I hate politics because it's
Let
just
us let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, if you've made it this far, like,
yeah.
and you know
Look,
the answer. Just inform us,
like,
please.
I like to think we're educated, but obviously we don't know everything.
When it comes to
So
politics, I'm
it's
very out of depth, mainly
yeah,
because I'm
because
young. You know.
it's very different as well in Australia because there's not a lot
Yeah.
of
It's not
like
as extreme as US politics.
yeah. I'm
I'd
pretty
argue to
sure
say.
I'm quite sure that liberal means a different thing in Australia than it does in like the US. I mean, is us
Yeah,
thinking it's
we
Australian and
have
the United
Liberal and Labor,
States.
right? That's what we have.
Yeah,
We don't
Liberal and
have.
Labor
Yeah,
because Liberals like the right wing and Labor's left wing.
yeah. Labor's like
I
pro
think
the people. Like
yeah, I think
Labor looks at like tries to look after the people and stuff and looks out for jobs and stuff like that.
yeah,
And
I
then
think that's
Liberals
the
more
idea.
so the economy. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
in Australia it's more so that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. We should probably be more educated about it before talking about it on the podcast. But you
Absolutely.
know what? Here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, we'll look back on this in the future and be like, man, we were fucking stupid.
But I don't know. We don't just because we don't know it doesn't mean we're stupid.
Um, and jumping back into the idea of cancel culture, man, we've digressed a lot. Holy shit. And
That's
canceling
alright.
people. One of the funniest comedians of our time, Kevin Hart, in 2018 was forced to, not really forced to, but was pressured to pull out of hosting the Oscars after several homophobic tweets resurfaced from almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, he was going to host the Oscars, and then several tweets from 10 years prior surfaced, and he was pressured into saying, "Look, sorry, I can't host these Oscars now because of what's come out." After pulling out of the Oscars, he said this quote: "Guys, I'm almost 40 years old. If you don't believe that people change, grow, evolve as people or get older, evolve as people get older, I don't know what to tell you." He was 39 in the video. He said, "If you want to hold people in a position where they always have to justify or explain their past, then do you. I'm the wrong guy." And one of probably the most controversial tweet was, and I quote, "Is it gay if you fight a guy with long hair and when you start losing, grab a handful of it?" Personally, I don't find that homophobic at all. I think it's funny. He's a comedian. His job is to say funny and edgy stuff that's going to get him the traction on social media. And that was nearly 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, that kind of comedy and that kind of stuff was completely okay. People loved it. They fed off of it.
And I guess that's the thing as well. Like with comedy, especially, and that sort of stuff. If you're making jokes and making comments that are almost 10 years old, the world was a completely different place 10 years ago. What is it? 2022, 2012? The world was going to
2012,
end.
bro. That was when people were thinking the
end
world was ending.
at the end of the year. Like, do you remember that? I remember that. I remember
Yep.
the night it happened. I was like
Yep.
sitting there like, damn, am I really going to die? I'm like 12 years old. But, and it's people who go back and presume that you can't grow and change and become more understanding of everyone's opinions when they grow up is it's silly because obviously people like 10 years ago he would have said that it's like not even thinking about it and he would have just
and you
tweeted,
didn't have to think about
enter,
it.
gone
Yeah.
and
Yep.
he's not even thought about it again until people have just been, and the thing is the things that people have to scroll through to go 10 years ago.
Dude, it's like people just look for a reason to cancel someone.
Man, I try to scroll down in like my old Facebook posts and stuff like that. Like I've thankfully gone and dealt with that, but like even doing that was painful. Like I can't imagine the people over just sitting there just scrolling trying to find dirt on somebody.
See,
you know, it's
Facebook loves to remind me of my posts from so many years ago. I'll be like, oh, I got a notification on Facebook, and it's like, you've got a post from 12 years ago to look back on, and I'm like, oh, this would be juicy.
Like for a TBH.
Yep. Hit the nail on the head right there, mate.
Oh man.
Anyway,
that's funny. Yeah. Speaking of your old, I won't talk about it.
I will murder you. That is for one day in the future when I have fucking hundreds of thousands of followers. Then I'll embarrass myself publicly.
He knows, I know, and that's all that matters. No one else does.
That
So
matters.
that's all.
But I can assure you, if I ever become famous and I ever have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitch, I will 100% expose my prior self. Like, mark my words. If I ever hit 500k,
500k, that's a good
500k
number.
followers, I will
that's a good
embarrass
number.
myself.
That's a good number. Damn, that's I hope it happens one day.
Honestly, genuinely, I hope it does too. Because I
just want other people to know about it more than anything. Because
this is our little secret.
I know, and now it's an inside joke that no one else understands, so it's all good.
Oh, I had the scariest moment at work the other day. So, good old Jerda was like, he was like, oh, me and Bestie Westie were watching some of your old videos last night, and my heart fucking sank, bro. And I'm like, no, this can't be. Thankfully, they had just delved to the old videos on the SquizzehG YouTube, and it was like our Black Ops 2 days and shit like that. And I'm like, praise be! There's a God above, man. There's a God above. Like, I was my heart sank, and I just looked him dead in the eyes. I'm like, what old videos?
Oh, man, that'd be funny. That'd be funny.
That's worse than my fucking scamming my grandma.
Yeah, no, that's probably worse. I would say that. That is probably going to be worse.
I love Guy Sebastian.
Stop. We need to stop. We need to, because no one understands. We're just blabbling on about crap and no one gets it.
Yeah, but it gets them hyped. They'll be like, man, one day when Squish hits this, I'm going to remind him. Anyway, cancel culture.
Done. Yeah, cancel culture.
Oh, that'll get me fucking cancelled.
Yep.
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, we were talking about pulling up poll tweets and stuff like that, and how it's silly to presume that people can't change and become more understanding of everyone's views, which is very true.
One of the biggest recently for pulling up old tweets and stuff. Actually, it's not really old tweets, however, it is pulling up tweets, and it's probably more recent. This was in 2020. Is J.K. Rowling and that whole transphobic saga that has heavily affected the latest game, Hogwarts. In fact, actually, it's kind of done a good thing for Hogwarts. It has record sales because the cancel culture is going against the cancel culture, and they're like, oh, you think it's transphobic, huh? Let me buy the game.
Yeah. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
So, for those who don't know, on June 6th in 2020, J.K. Rowling retweeted an op-ed piece that discussed, quote, people who menstruate, apparently taking issue with the fact that the story did not use the word women. And she retweeted the op-ed and said in her tweet, quote, people who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Wimpund, she wrote. The initial tweet garnered a lot of backlash, but the Harry Potter author did not relent and wrote about her views in more detail. Quote, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the livid reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth, she tweeted. And she garnered a lot of hate for that. A lot.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. When it comes to transphobia and stuff like that, I feel like people can do whatever they want to do. It's when people start, and a lot of it is using pronouns thing and stuff like that. I feel like people can be called what they want to be called, but if you don't call them that, it's like,
You shouldn't be put on the cross.
yeah, exactly. I agree, exactly. It's I know transgender people that they're really
Uh-huh.
nice people.
Yeah.
I got nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. If you're a nice person, then I'll be nice to you. If you know what I mean. It's not like I'm not gonna take you down if you're gay, if you're trans, whatever. Like, as long as you're a nice person, I'll be nice back to you. But when it comes to people forcing people to use terms out of, and the thing is, they don't a lot of the time it's not through asking, it's through
It's demanding. It's like
demanding. It's
you
demanding.
have to call me these
You have to call
pronouns.
me this. It's like,
Yeah.
if you just asked me, I probably would.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and if you're nice, like, oh, sorry, can you please call me this? Cool, whatever. And I won't accidentally do it again. Whatever, misgender, whatever it is. I don't know. That's my personal view on it. Like, I don't really.
It's
Yeah,
such
it's
a
a very.
dangerous slope because like on one hand, by cultural standards, you aren't like giving them, I'm putting quotation fingers up, you aren't like giving them the respect by calling them their pronouns. However, on the, like, I don't want to say human rights standard, but on the free speech standard, they are like forcing you to use certain words to describe them, which goes against free speech because you should be entitled to
Yeah.
say and call people what you want that isn't offensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like
It's a very.
it's
Sorry.
scary. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
No, it's a very slippery slope, and it's like I try to have a relatively balanced opinion on everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, the way I react to things in the world is different to other way other people react to things in the world. But
And that's the same
it's
for everyone though. Like,
exactly right. Everyone reacts differently at the end of the day, and not everyone is going to agree with what you want to say.
uh-huh.
And I think people have the right to their own opinion, and that's it. Like, people can believe whatever they want to believe. Obviously, some people aren't going to like those opinions. And look, there's I don't know, people won't agree with the way I see things. People will disagree, and that's okay. But it's just the way I feel about it personally.
Yeah, and
And
you're within every right to have people like give you the respect you deserve for having your own opinion.
no, exactly right. Because I don't. I'm not going to go there and say, "Oh, your opinion's dumb." Like, this is me saying to someone, like, if someone has an opinion on something, I'm not going to go and say, "Oh, that's dumb." I'm not that. I'm not that. You know,
Yep.
intensified that in my own beliefs. Like, I can't be that selfish to think that my opinion's the only right one. And that's the other thing as well. A lot of people think that their opinion is final, and that's pretty selfish. Like,
Yep.
you should be able to be flexible, and you should be able to take in ideas from other people and be like, okay, this is, and compare it to your opinion and be like, oh, well, maybe I can think a bit differently about it.
Yeah.
Like, at first, I'll be honest with you, at first I didn't agree with with the whole transgender thing. I was a bit uncultured, if you will. I'm still pretty young, so you can forgive me, I suppose, if you want to. But as I've grown a little bit, and I've seen things in the world, like I've interacted with different people, I've met new people and stuff like that, and I've been like, you know what? Like, maybe, and my opinions have changed over the years, and it's not. I think it's a good thing. I think I'm relatively more inclusive anyway, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
guess so is society, though, in that aspect too.
It's a sign of growth and like mental maturity. Like when your opinions
Oh,
change, and
100%.
people
But
want to roast you for having a different opinion 10 years ago than you did these days, and it's like,
yeah,
well,
and that's I think, and
like
it's
fucking hell.
silly, and
It
like,
is.
you go back to the point of tweets and stuff like that. People digging up tweets from 10 years ago. They're not the same person 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. It's like, people grow, people mature, people do have different life experiences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, you get where I'm coming from anyway. We'll
Yes.
probably try to turn away from that topic now, because it's something I'm relatively passionate about. But
I
you
think
know,
we're I think we've kind of pretty much cruised through everything. That was a
wrapped it up.
nice. Just real
Yeah, just
quick,
about.
just want to quickly brush over one a little bit more controversial. We'll get into it another time. Is the old Tatius Maximus Andrews.
Tedious Max.
So
Tasty
cancel
as
culture.
fuck.
So I'm not talking about his accusations of what he's done. This is purely in relation to cancel culture. So don't at me. Don't fucking. So Andrew Tate was cancelled. We all know that, and he was cancelled for going against government agenda and norms set in place by the society. And one of the biggest norms that we had was that he defied the idea that men should be vulnerable, which is a big thing these days, is male masculinity. And I will say, I do believe that the majority of this generation is trying to cancel masculinity and is trying to make men little piss boys. But that's just my opinion. Again, everyone's entitled to their own. Don't cancel me for it like you did to Mr. Tate. That's one of the only things he's ever said that I agree with, is that men should still be masculine. And he got absolutely ridiculed for that opinion.
Yeah.
He was deemed a what are they called? A radicalist? No. What do they call them?
Yeah, it's a similar word to that.
Yeah, it's like what
extremist?
they
Is that the
extremist. That's
word?
the one. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was labeled an extremist for those point of views, and he was shut down on pretty much every single site he was active on. I think the only site that took him on was a podcast site, and it was called like I can't remember what it was called.
And that's how he started his podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he kept the podcast alive, and that's the only site that kept him unbanned. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything just shut him out and blocked him out completely, and he was pretty much silenced for voicing his opinion. And then when that didn't work, they switched to all these different allegations, which could be right, could be wrong. We're not going to delve into that.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
And that begs the question: like, is silencing his right to speech go against human rights? Because if I correct me if I'm wrong, I believe one of the basic human rights is like you're entitled to free speech.
Oh, 100%.
And
You're all allowed your own opinion. Andrew Tate's allowed his own opinion. You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
absolutely.
It's like I agree with some things he says. I don't agree with other things he says. But it's the same with everything. People agree with people agree with some things I say. People disagree with some things I say.
Yeah,
it goes the same for everyone, and that's the problem. People don't seem to like imperfections. I suppose you could call them is how people. I guess that's how people have like their own personalities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like people base it off different things. Like that's why everyone's different. Not everyone's the same, everyone. And that's the other thing as well. It gets rid of the whole individuality side of life in general. Like you can't be individual. You can't be yourself if people are telling you, oh, this is bad. You can't do this. We're not going to let you do this if you voice your opinion. And it's like, well, obviously people have opinions that are controversial. And other people have opinions that aren't controversial, and like there'll be people out there that have the exact opinion of what everyone wants them to have. There'll be people out there that say everything that everyone wants them to say, and people will be like, yeah, okay, whatever, you can do that, but then you can also be like the complete opposite of that. You can be like a radical right wing, whatever you want to call it, and disagree with everything, live in the middle of nowhere sort of thing. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But people have different opinions, and at the end of the day, they shouldn't be ridiculed for that. Look, there's a line, obviously, and that's I guess at the end of the day, you can't look. I'll be honest. Some opinions are very questionable at best. Like obviously, you're allowed to have it.
It's obvious when those opinions are a little bit more radical and extreme. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But saying something like men should be masculine is not an extremist opinion at all. I don't think it's.
Look, personally, I think that you can. Yeah, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. That's why there's masculinity and femininity, I suppose. That's why there's two words and two definitions for those words.
Exactly.
But, look, and I'm not going to say anything else before I freaking incriminate myself. But anyway,
do it. Come on, mate. I voiced my opinions.
Look.
That's what we're here for. There's no cancelling.
Nah, we'll leave it to another podcast. We'll leave it to another one because this is not about cancel culture. It's not about cancel culture. And we're going to stay on the topic at hand.
Yes, we've digressed a bit.
Because, at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion. Bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide as I step in the room.
Well.
Yep.
Anything else? Anyone? We'll take any questions from people in the chat. I think there's K and Ascend. Any questions you guys have? If not, then Let's save those notes.
Thanks for tuning in, by the way, guys. We thoroughly appreciate it. We're ready trying our very hardest.
Yeah, we are. Go follow us on Spotify. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're on Spotify now. The Vault Podcast. Link for that will be in the description. Yo,
hey man,
that's just us. It's just what we do.
What can I say? I was born this way, or whatever the Lady Gaga song was. But yeah, go subscribe on YouTube.
Yep,
as well,
like the damn video because it
video,
gets the video out there. Feed the algorithm. Comment on it, even if you're just commenting anything. I don't bloody know, bro. Just a dot.
Enter. Takes 2 seconds.
Or just give us like a really bot feedback, like OMG, this video is so cool. Or you'll get like those comments that are just like fake versions of the accounts, and it's like, guys, I'm doing giveaway. You want money? DM my money.
It's like, for example, say like Mr. Beast will be Mr. Beast with 2 T's or something.
Or like Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to give you $10 million. Give me your pay ID. Give me your WhatsApp.
Pay ID. Yeah, okay. Nah.
Anyways, well, those of you listening on YouTube and Spotify, thank you for listening. Appreciate it. Your support is loved here, and we appreciate every one of you. We've noticed that the video's been doing pretty good on YouTube. I don't know if you've noticed it, Squizzeh, or if you've had a look.
Yeah.
But,
few views.
I think we got like 20-something on our last one. So
20-something. Very nice. Hopefully we can double that this time.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Isn't that what
this one should get a bit more. Oh yeah, bro. Let's double it. We got 1 million likes last time. Let's go for 2.
Double it and give it to the next person.
Bro. Oh, I love those comments. I'll be watching like a super controversial TikTok or like a sad TikTok, and like there's like a dog dying, bro. And you go to the comments and it's like double it, give it to the next person. It's just
it's like, damn, double the pain, Jesus. That is savagery.
Either way, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on the socials. We'll eventually get some socials going, maybe. You know.
Yeah, one day we'll get there. We will make it a bit more. We'll make it a bit more entertaining as well. Like the background.
Yes, we need a background, man. This gray is kind of just. The gray is gay. Oh no, he said a homophobic. Cancel him.
Damn.
Cancel this man. He's a homophobe. The gray is gay. Shit. Don't quote me, please. No one quote me.
Wordplay, Lamau.
That's gonna bite me in the ass in 10 years' time, bro. They're gonna cancel me. Our podcast is gonna have like 50,000 viewers an episode. And like, hey, you said this 10 years ago. Cancel this man.
Someone puts up a short, just saying.
The grey is gay.
That's it.
No context. Nah. It's just.
We're gonna put some more effort into the old.
Yeah,
overlays and stuff, and we'll get.
If anyone knows anyone that can give us like, I don't know, some animated intros or some shit that we don't have to pay like $10,000 for on Fiverr, let us know. But obviously, the likelihood of that is like.
Yeah, here you go. Here's the perfect one. How much? $500.
Damn. Here's this. I got it done in a day using a template. That'll be $5,000.
$5,000.
It's just like it's just shit like 5 FPS.
I'm a uni student, man. I'm out here struggling. I can't afford to pay the money for this. But anyway,
man,
appreciate you.
We keep digressing. Yeah, love yous all on the Spotify and YouTube. We'll see yous later. See you next episode. Next Sunday, tune in. Or Monday. Yeah. Sometimes Spotify's a little bit icky with how long it takes to upload and publish and whatnot. But either way, the fact we're on Spotify, that's kind of dope.
That's sick.
Bye bye.
See ya, and laters.